हेलो गाइस। तो और कैसे हैं आप सब? आई होप आप सब बढ़िया होंगे। मैं भी एकदम बढ़िया हूँ। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट टुडेस Vprople question of the day. The name of the question is shuffled rows matrix. A matrix is said to be shuffled rows matrix if all the elements in all the rows are same but maybe in a shuffled order. Given an n into m matrix, write a program to check if the matrix is a shuffled row matrix or not. So first of all, in this question we will be given a matrix of format n into m, in which there will be n rows and m columns. In these n rows, there will be m elements in each row. We are required to check that all the rows contain the same elements or not. So basically, in this question, we need to check that all the n rows in these matrix contain the same m elements. Maybe they will be shuffled or not, but if all these n rows contain the same elements, we will print shuffled row matrix. And if all these n rows does not contain the same elements, either be shuffled or not, if all the elements in all the rows are not same, then we will print not shuffled row matrix. So first of all, the input format for this question will be: first line contains the number of rows in the matrix M, the second line contains the number of columns in the matrix N, and the next m lines contain the elements in each row of the matrix separated by a space. Okay, so first of all we will need to take m, that is the number of rows in the matrix. So m equal to integer input. Then we will be taking integer input for the number of columns. In the next m lines, I'm going to take input all the elements in each row of the matrix separated by a space. So here I'm going to create a list named as matrix, in which I'm going to store all the rows of the matrix. And to accomplish this task, we will use a for loop inside the list for I in range. And this for loop will run the number of times the number of rows in the matrix for I in range m. And the most important thing, how to take space separated elements input in the form of list and store it in a list named as matrix. So to take space separated inputs and then store it in a form of list and then into a matrix, we will use a particular format, that is list map integer comma input dot split. So what this particular line is going to do, it will take all the elements in the list input and then convert it into integer and then store it inside this list matrix. And this complete task will happen for all the rows in this matrix. Let me print the matrix and show you how it happens. For I in range m, list map integer input dot split. So here it happens. The first row contains 4517. It has been stored in the format of a list. So this complete matrix is now a nested list which stores all the rows in the form of a list. So the first row is 4517, second row is 7145, third row is 1754. So now what we are asked to do is to check that all these rows contain the same elements or not, maybe in a shuffled format or not. So what we are going to do, we want to check all these rows contain the same elements or not. So to ease this task, so I'm going to sort all these rows in ascending order and then check that all these rows are similar or not. So first of all, I'm going to sort all these rows. So at the time of taking the input only, I'm going to sort these rows, and let's check how it gets sorted. So here we can see that the 4517 was the first row, the second one was 7145. So all these rows have been sorted as 1457 in ascending order. Now, as all the rows in the matrix have been sorted in ascending order, the only task that we are left with is to check that all these rows contain similar element or not. And for that reason, I'm going to create a variable named as flag, whose value I'm going to give as false for now. So don't get confused why I'm using flag here right now. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a for loop for I in range, which will be run the number of times the number of rows in the matrix minus 1. And why I'm using minus 1 is I want to check that if the ith element in the matrix is equal to the its next corresponding element I plus 1, then put the value of flag is equal to true and continue the process. Else put the value of flag as false and break the loop. So the main reason why I've given the value of flag here as false, that if the ith element in the matrix is equal to the next element, its next corresponding element, put the value of flag as true, just to check that all the elements in the matrix are same or not. All the elements, with all the elements I'm telling here that all the rows in the matrix are similar or not. If all the rows in the matrix are similar, the end value of the flag will be true. And if any two of the matrix elements are different, the value of flag will contain false. So now I'm going to check if the value of flag is equal to true. Sorry, the value of flag is equal to true. Print what's given here, shuffled row matrix. So print shuffled row matrix, and the value of flag is false, which means that no two elements in the matrix contain the same rows, contain the same elements. So for that reason, print not shuffled row matrix. Okay, so here we are done with the task. We are done with today's question. Wait. They have given the wrong spelling of matrix. matrix. Okay, no problem. matrix. So what we have done here, we have taken a variable named as false, named as flag, whose value is set to false, just to check that if the corresponding elements in the matrix, if the corresponding rows in the matrix contain the same elements, then put the value of flag as true. Else put the value of flag as false, and at that time only break the loop. And when the loop will be breaking, the value of flag will be set to false, and if the value of flag is set to false, it will be printed that not shuffled row matrix. All the elements in the rows are not in the matrix are not equal. So let's print this. Let's check that our code is correct or not. So here our code is completely correct, and it has been printed that success, your code has passed all test cases. So let me tell you once again what we are doing in this particular part of the code. We are running a for loop the number of times the number of rows in the matrix, and we are checking that if the ith row in the matrix is just similar to its next corresponding I plus 1th row, then put the value of flag as true. And if not, if the ith row in the matrix is not equal to, is not similar to its next corresponding I plus 1th row, then set the value of flag as false and break out of the loop. And if the value of flag is false, print not shuffled row matrix, and if the value of flag is true, that all the elements, all the rows inside the matrix are similar, put the value of flag as true, and if the value of flag is true, print shuffled row matrix. So if you liked our way of explanation and it was very easy for you to understand our code, then stay tuned with us and share it with your friends who are still struggling to solve today's Vprople question of the day. And don't forget to subscribe and like our channel and hit the bell icon with all the videos regarding all the POD's question of the Vprople. Thank you. Have a nice day.